Imagine a vehicle that can cross rivers, frozen lakes, deep swamps, and even the ocean, all while carrying tons of cargo, or even people. Now tell me, do you have any idea what the largest amphibious vehicle ever built looks like? In today's video, you're going to discover some of the most colossal amphibious machines ever made. These are true mechanical beasts, built to operate in places so extreme, even helicopters struggle to reach. You'll see Russian giants that look like they came straight out of a sci-fi movie. A US military prototype that could pass for something from an alien invasion film. And rescue vehicles built to handle wildfires, rough seas, and unstable terrain, all in a single mission. Stick with me until the end, because the last vehicle on this list is so massive and advanced, you'll have a hard time believing it's even real. ZIL 4906. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union built some truly unique machines, and the ZIL 4906 might just be one of the most surprising. Introduced in 1975, this wasn't a combat vehicle, but a cosmonaut recovery machine, designed to reach space capsules that landed in remote, frozen areas. Built by the legendary Russian automaker ZIL, the 4906 is an impressive sight. It measures over 29 feet long, stands about 9 feet tall, and is nearly 10 feet wide. With a total weight of over 7 tons, it's anything but subtle. Under the hood, it packs a 7.0-liter V8 gasoline engine, producing around 180 horsepower and more than 880 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes to all 4 wheels, which work in tandem with 2 rear propellers that kick in automatically when the vehicle hits water. Its suspension system uses heavy-duty coil springs and long travel shocks, built to take a beating across snowdrifts, rocky slopes, and mud-covered paths. The all-wheel drive gives it solid traction, even on icy or unstable surfaces. From the outside, it looks like a militarized bus on monster wheels, but what really impresses is how well it handles water. Despite weighing over 7 tons, it floats with ease and cruises through rivers at about 6 miles per hour. The deep growl of the engine across the water adds to the machine's raw presence. Here's something most people don't know. The ZIL 4906 was fitted with medical gear, long-range radios, and even stretcher mounts, making it a kind of floating ambulance for Soviet space missions. Today, a few units remain on display in Russian museums as relics of the space race. Others were adapted for civilian use, like off-road tours through Siberia's harsh wilderness. And if you think a space rescue vehicle is wild, wait until you see the next one. It looks like a tropical island toy with a military-grade hull. St. Michael Amphibious. Launched in 2010 by a team of independent engineers and designers in the UK, the St. Michael Amphibious grabs attention for both its looks and its purpose. It blends the appearance of a supercar with the soul of a patrol boat, designed specifically for coastal rescue operations and rapid response in hard-to-reach areas. Right off the bat, the size is impressive, nearly 33 feet long, over 10 feet wide, and about 8 feet tall. It weighs just over 5 tons, built with reinforced marine-grade aluminum and carbon fiber panels. Its power plant is a 6.2-liter V8 gasoline engine, pushing out around 400 horsepower and nearly 1,320 pound-feet of torque. It runs on all-wheel drive with independent suspension on every wheel. Once it hits the water, twin propellers activate automatically, allowing it to cruise at around 7.5 miles per hour. Inside, it may look luxurious, but it's built for function: waterproof seats for 8, a sealed dashboard, and dual controls for both land and sea navigation. The engine roars with a sharp, high-pitched tone, and the transition from water to land is seamless, often with a loud splash and dramatic launch onto dry ground. It's been tested in flood zones and along storm-prone coastlines. One unit was even lightly armored and used for reconnaissance drills during joint training missions between the UK and Canada. Though production was extremely limited, the St. Michael has become a symbol of dual-purpose engineering, where rugged utility meets cutting-edge design. But if you think that's innovative, wait until you meet the next machine, a Russian off-road legend with 8 driven wheels and the look of a post-apocalyptic beast. Afto Shaman. The Afto Shaman, built in 2014, is a modern icon of Russian off-road engineering. Think of it as a civilized tank, or better yet, a land cruiser built for Earth's wildest frontiers: snow, desert, marsh, or river. It measures just over 20 feet long, more than 8 feet wide, and nearly 10 feet tall. The weight? Around 10,000 pounds. Its engine is a 3.2-liter inline-4 turbo diesel, producing about 176 horsepower and nearly 990 pound-feet of torque. But the standout feature is its 8x8 drivetrain. That's right, all 8 wheels drive and steer. Each wheel has double wishbone independent suspension, and the tires are massive low-pressure units that can be inflated or deflated on the go, straight from the cockpit. In the water, a rear-mounted propeller takes over, giving the Shaman modest but effective aquatic mobility. The engine hums steadily, and the whole vehicle moves like a silent predator, regardless of terrain. Inside, it's designed like an expedition shuttle: central pilot seat, aircraft-style controls, and room for up to 9 people. It's used in Siberian expeditions, polar rescue missions, and even as luxury adventure transport for the ultra-wealthy. Fun fact: one of these was purchased by a Russian oligarch to use during Arctic hunting trips, taking guests where no chopper could safely land. Now hang on, because up next is basically a floating tractor, built for serious payloads and raw power. Rousac. Unveiled in 2018 by Russian engineers, the Rousac is a true force of nature. It was designed to carry people and heavy gear across the Siberian and Arctic wilderness, where weather and isolation are often more dangerous than the terrain itself. The numbers are just as impressive: over 26 feet long, nearly 10 feet high, and about 8.5 feet wide, weighing in at over 13,000 pounds. Despite being built from lightweight alloys to help it float, at its core is a 4.4-liter inline-4 turbo diesel, producing around 150 horsepower and 925 pound-feet of torque. The power curve is tuned for low-end torque, making it ideal for crawling through snow, mud, or swamp. It uses full-time 4-wheel drive, independent suspension, and oversized, low-pressure tires that can be adjusted for terrain directly from the cabin. Once afloat, dual rear-mounted propellers provide smooth propulsion through calm or moving water. It sounds like a tank and looks like something between a military tractor and a science outpost crawler. Sharp angles, sealed doors, and a low center of gravity make it as sturdy as it looks. Inside, it comfortably fits 8 people, with rugged seats, full climate control, and even optional solar panels for long missions. It was developed for humanitarian support, remote construction logistics, and climate science research. In 2019, one of these was used in a Russian Arctic research project, traveling over 600 miles through icy wilderness, a route where no other land vehicle had ever completed the journey. And this ride is just heating up. The next vehicle looks like it rolled out of a sci-fi spaceport, but was built to survive Earth's most brutal landscapes. Burlac. The Burlac is less of a truck and more of a land-based spacecraft, purpose-built to conquer the extreme conditions of the Arctic. Designed by a private Russian team led by Alexei Makarov, the project began as a personal challenge and ended up becoming a modern legend in off-road exploration. Launched in 2017, the Burlac stretches 28 feet long, nearly 10 feet wide, and stands almost 10 feet tall. Weighing over 10,000 pounds, just one glance tells you this isn't some backwoods toy. It's powered by a 3.1-liter turbo diesel with 4 cylinders, putting out 150 horsepower and over 990 pound-feet of torque. But its real strength comes from a drivetrain tuned for ultra-efficient fuel use and constant traction. Riding on 6 enormous flotation tires, specially made for snow and deep mud. The Burlac features all-wheel drive and independent suspension, allowing it to climb over obstacles up to 3 feet tall. In water, it's propelled by rear-mounted twin propellers, offering great stability even in flowing rivers. Despite its size, the sealed hull and balanced weight distribution make it float effortlessly. Inside, it's a full-on polar survival capsule, room for 6 people, compact kitchen, fold-down beds, storage, heater, satellite comms, and environmental sensors. The Burlac made headlines after completing a 1,250-mile journey from Russia to the North Pole, tackling ice sheets, snowstorms, and floating slabs like it was driving through a winter park. If you thought this was the peak of Arctic endurance, wait until you see what comes next. A French military machine that can turn into a floating bridge in minutes. Epha. The Epha is one of the most versatile machines ever built by the French military. Launched in 1980, Epha stands for Engine de Franchissement de l'Avant, which roughly translates to Forward Crossing Engine. And that's exactly what it does. It was built to carry tanks, cross rivers, and even transform into a floating bridge, sometimes all during the same operation. Measuring nearly 40 feet long, about 13 feet wide, and 10 feet high, the Epha weighs around 50,000 pounds, making it one of the largest amphibious vehicles in its class. Under the hood, it's powered by a massive V12 diesel, with over 18 liters of displacement, producing around 450 horsepower and a staggering 3,300 pound-feet of torque. Its suspension system features reinforced axles with auto-leveling, allowing the vehicle to remain stable as it enters or exits the water. It has four-wheel drive and side-mounted thrusters for precise maneuvering while floating. Visually, it looks like a cross between a military barge and a giant mobile crane. The engine growls low and deep, and the sound of its folding ramps slapping onto the riverbank is something unforgettable for anyone who's seen it in action. The Epha served with the French, German, and other NATO forces for decades, used extensively in live combat and disaster relief missions. Multiple units can connect side by side to create a floating bridge strong enough to support armored vehicles and trucks. Here's a lesser-known fact. During the 1990s, Ephas were deployed in the Balkans, not just for military operations, but to help ambulances and civilians cross rivers where bridges had been destroyed by war and floods. And before we get to the final giants on this list, here's a quick reminder. Loving this journey through the world's biggest amphibious machines? Then smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, because every week we bring you the wildest, rarest, and most extreme machines ever built. And if you think the Epha is big, wait till you see what's next. It looks like two trucks fused together, and it cruises through snow, mud, and rivers like a kid's toy in a bathtub. M3 Amphibious Rig. The M3 Amphibious Rig is the modern military's version of a transformer. Built by German manufacturer GDELS, General Dynamics European Land Systems, and introduced in 2002, it was designed for one vital purpose: transporting tanks across rivers and canals, either as a floating ferry or a full bridge. Its standard dimensions are massive: 41 feet long, more than 12 feet wide when folded, and over 10 feet high. But the real magic happens when it unfolds, expanding to more than 80 feet wide thanks to its hydraulically deployed pontoons. It's powered by a 10.5-liter V10 diesel, putting out about 420 horsepower and over 2,650 pound-feet of torque. More than enough to push military-grade cargo across water. It's equipped with four-wheel drive, reinforced off-road suspension, and dual water-jet thrusters mounted at the rear, giving it precise control even while fully loaded. Visually, it's a no-nonsense machine. Sharp angles, massive hydraulic arms, and a design built purely for function. The low drone of the diesel engine is constant, and when it enters the water, the jets create a powerful surge. The M3 is currently in service with the German, British, and Singaporean armed forces, among others. One of its standout missions involved carrying a 66-ton Leopard 2 tank across a river during a NATO exercise. The entire crossing took less than 5 minutes. And get this, despite its bulk, the M3 can still hit up to 50 miles per hour on land, making it one of the fastest amphibious vehicles in its class. But if you think a transforming ferry is impressive, wait till you meet the next beast. A tracked monster that moves like a freight train through snow and water alike. Vitas DT30. The Vitas DT30, also known as the Vitas II, is one of Russia's most extreme engineering marvels, a blend of raw force and precise design. First rolled out in 1982, during the height of the Cold War, this monster was created to haul heavy equipment and personnel across the harshest Arctic and Siberian terrains, where ground can change from ice to mud to open water in a matter of minutes. What immediately stands out is its articulated body, two massive sections connected by a flexible joint. This gives it centipede-like movement, allowing it to slither over uneven landscapes that would stop ordinary vehicles cold. It stretches over 52 feet in length, stands 11 feet high, and is about 10.5 feet wide. The total weight, around 68,000 pounds. At its core is a massive V12 diesel engine, with over 88 liters of displacement, generating 1,000 horsepower and more than 8,800 pound-feet of torque. Pure mechanical muscle. Each module runs on huge rubber tracks, spreading its weight across a large footprint. This not only helps it float, even when fully loaded, but also gives it serious grip over ice, snow, sand, and mud. The suspension uses a torsion bar system integrated with the tracks, ensuring stable movement even across broken or shifting ground. Its sound is unforgettable, a deep mechanical growl combined with the crack and crunch of ice and earth beneath the treads. It moves like a war train, carving paths through terrain others wouldn't dare attempt. The cabin holds up to 10 crew members, and the rear module can carry over 20 tons of gear or cargo containers. It was used to resupply polar research stations, transport weapon systems, and even carry out search and rescue missions in areas unreachable by air. In 2010, a DT-30 was deployed to rescue trapped workers in a remote Arctic mining operation. Helicopters couldn't land safely due to unstable ice. The Vitas got there by brute force and reliability. If you think that's hardcore, the next machine was built to survive raging seas, blazing fires, and sub-zero ice, all in one go. Arctose Amphibious Craft. The Arctose Amphibious Craft is arguably one of the most versatile survival vehicles ever made. Built in Canada and launched in 2003, it was designed for a terrifying worst-case scenario, evacuating people from oil rims during a fire, tsunami, or icy flood. Its design is like nothing else. Picture two sealed armored capsules linked together by a pivot joint. This lets it climb over jagged ice, float through open water, and maneuver in conditions where boats and helicopters simply can't operate. The specs are massive. 66 feet long, 16 feet wide, and over 13 feet tall, weighing more than 70,000 pounds. It's powered by two diesel engines, each producing around 400 horsepower, for a combined 800 horsepower and nearly 4,500 pound-feet of torque. These work in tandem with a hybrid propulsion system. Heavy-duty tracks for crawling over land and ice, and water jets for propulsion through the sea. Its tracks are built for traction over floating ice, sandbars, floodwaters, and even flaming debris. And it's fire-resistant, sealed against smoke, and equipped with pressurized air systems and chemical filters. It can operate in environments with temperatures over 600 degrees Fahrenheit, like in an oil platform inferno. The sound it makes is part mechanical roar, part clanking monster, the kind of noise that warns, this thing means business. Inside, it can hold up to 50 people per trip, with emergency supplies, seating, and climate controls. It has already proven itself in Arctic evacuation drills and is considered a vital safety asset for offshore operations. If you've been impressed so far, the last entry on our list takes everything you've seen and blows it out of the water. Ultra Heavy Lift Amphibious Connector. The Ultra Heavy Lift Amphibious Connector, or UHAC, is a true giant, a prototype so futuristic it looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie rather than on a military beachhead. Developed by the United States Navy in 2014, this machine was built to replace traditional landing crafts with far greater speed, capacity, and range. The numbers are jaw-dropping: over 85 feet long, 40 feet wide, and 16 feet tall. Its weight exceeds 400,000 pounds, and yet it floats and moves with surprising grace. In its test phase, it used two massive diesel engines generating a combined 1,200 horsepower, with enough thrust to move at over 18 miles per hour on land and cruise steadily over water, even when fully loaded. But here's what really sets the Rousac apart. Instead of wheels or tracks, it moves using giant inflatable paddle track treads. These rotating pontoons act like giant scoops, pushing the craft forward in water and over muddy, sandy terrain. They also allow it to climb directly onto beaches, even with waves crashing against it. It was designed to carry tanks, vehicles, cargo containers, and troops from ship to shore without the need for ports or docks. One prototype managed to haul an M1 Abrams tank, a light armored vehicle, and 3 cargo containers all at once through waves over 6 feet high, without losing balance. Its sound is like a mix of turbine engines and ocean surf, a surreal combination that makes it hard to look away when it's in motion. While it remains a prototype, the Rousac could one day revolutionize amphibious military logistics and disaster relief operations on a global scale. So, which one of these massive amphibious beasts blew your mind the most? From space capsule rescues in the Arctic to floating bridges, oil rig evacuators, and next-gen landing platforms, these aren't just machines. They're engineering legends, designed to thrive where nature throws its worst. Now tell me in the comments, which of these vehicles did you not even know existed? Which one do you think deserves more recognition? And if you could see one of them in real life, which one would it be? If you love extreme machines like these, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell. Because every week, we bring you the most insane real-world tech ever built to conquer ice, mud, fire, and sea. See you in the next video.